What's up, guys? We're here. We're here. We missed a week. We missed both Wednesday and Friday. Had some stuff going on at home, had to take care of. And also, today is also going to be a little bit of an abbreviated stream, unfortunately. It's the Christmas season, and I got students rescheduling from day to day. And actually, just finished having a student just now, which is unusual, and have a student at 8:30. Which is unusual. So we're going to have to absolutely cut it off by then or a little before then. So without further ado, let's just get right into what we're working on today. So we're back on Paramnesia, AfterWinter's debut album. We are a little bit further down the line than we were when last we worked on this. I think last time I streamed, we were working on part 3 of the second disc, the big one, the half an hour long song. We were working on part 3, and today we're going to be working on part 5. So I had actually prepared part 4 last Wednesday, or maybe even Friday. I don't remember. One of those days. I had prepared part 4 to work on, and then didn't end up getting able to stream that day either. So we should be able to get some stuff done today. Won't be a huge amount, but we'll still be able to kind of check in with how the mix on this album is going and see what's going on. So I think I've set up Black Hole this time. I didn't forget like I almost always do. So let's take a look at this. As you can see, there's a big open space here at the beginning of the song, and that is for the other parts. So this is a 6-part song, and what we're looking at here is part 5. But we've left the big open space at the beginning of the song for the first 4 parts, so that when we mix this all just slots together like a puzzle. So we're coming over here. This song cuts in at about 22 minutes, looks like. 22 and a half, kind of looks like. And we're going to start off looking for the toms like we normally do. Any spot where Eli has hit the 2 floor toms together is going to be our first bit. So making sure that we've muted everything here. This song is also still missing a little bit of stuff that needs tracking yet. Not much, but just a little bit. We're missing some sound effects, and I haven't done the official background vocals on this one yet. Once the official background vocals are on this one, that will be it for vocals on this album. In fact, I think at that point I will be officially done tracking everything I'm going to track, which feels weird. And of course I'd end up being the last one. Okay, so let's take a look here. This track that we've highlighted is Floor Tom 2. Harry asks, what's the obligatory sound effect we're using for these streams? Well, we've still been using the pfft, so I guess that's just become a riff entertainment thing, is the pfft. The PFFFT, if that's the proper spelling for pfft. And there we are. I guess that's it. All right. Yep, doesn't look like there's any instances in this song of Eli hitting those 2 floor toms together, so we don't have to worry about that. Bass is probably good where it's at. We'll make sure we take a closer listen to that. So I guess our next thing is doing some stuff to James and I's rhythm guitars. We need the marquee tool. So we're going to go through and turn these guitars down anytime there's vocals. Also anytime there's leads. And then we're going to listen through for any time that there's harmony going on, so that we can make sure that the harmony between James and I is still level. So this song does have a big long intro in it, or this part of this song has a big long intro. This first thing we're starting with is verse 10, which in and of itself is a rather hilarious thing to say. Yes, and pfft, back to you, Harry. Hope you're doing all right. It's been a little while. Last we talked, I think you had just started out at Whirlpool. How's that going? Is that still going okay? As okay as Whirlpool can go, as I know well from experience. Let's see, so verse 11 obviously has some more vocals going on in it. So we're just turning the guitars down about half a decibel while there are vocals. Okay, this chorus 2-4 just butts right up against it. So what's going on with that? Oh, right. I remember now. Verse 11 is actually a repeat of something from an earlier song. and there's kind of solos in between parts of this. I'd almost forgotten that. Okay, so actually for break 17, we're going to need to turn the rhythm guitars down even further because there's a guitar solo happening right here up to that 5/4 measure. There. And then for verse 11, we're just going to have to go through it pretty carefully. So for now, let's take verse 11 and go all the way over here through to break 18, and all of that just come down 1/2 decibel to make room for some vocals. And then we should be able to identify the parts that have solo. So here at 8:11, from 8:11 to 8:15 is a guitar solo. And we may need to turn all these sections even further down because there's also a pretty important clean guitar part happening during this. And then there's a piano solo from 8:21 to, or 8:22 actually it looks like, up to chorus 2-4. Just turn that down for those as well. We got 2-4 down, break 18 is up, and then chorus 4-1. We need to come back down to make room for vocals. That didn't start in the right spot at all. What is happening? I know what's happening. There's that insistence on starting on the measure. There we go. Okay, so that's our starting point. Let's take a listen and see what else we catch in there too, especially when it comes to harmony, because I know there is a lot of parts of this song where James and I are not playing the same thing. So let's take a listen here and see what we hear. Okay, couple things right off the bat. I heard the click track, which we don't want. That's in the overheads right here, so let's trim those up and fade them so that we don't have that. Also, James's guitars have kind of like an amp buzz. So let's make sure that's also softer when it comes in. Softer, yes, but I'm still not digging how long it lasts. Let's just back those tracks right up to, not scissors, right when that part starts. Make that fade in a lot shorter. We're almost there. I'm liking that. That's better. Okay. We can actually make that a little bit closer. There we go. That should be perfect. So there was a little harmony bit right there. Cool. So let's highlight that, because as per usual, the harmony's a little bit too loud. So let's take James up a couple decibels and me down a couple decibels. Yeah, did it feel like the guitars lost a little bit of overall volume right there? I think it did. So another little instance of a harmony there. Cool little harmony bit right there. I always like that part. So let's see if that same balance will work. so we've got a bunch of like little harmony bits here. And I'm pretty sure that it lasts there. Yes, that's correct. So theoretically, we should just be able to do the same thing on all of these. Up a couple, down a couple. I would think. James up. And me down. Yeah, almost there. There's 4 little harmony sections in this 4th time through this riff. And that's, yeah, much shorter that time. We both hit that A at the same time. And then we go into a really crazy riff. Definitely a Dream Theater inspired riff here coming up. One of the first riffs, no, not one of, it was the first riff that I wrote on my Arctic Blast Music Man guitar after my son Victor was born. While I was off work for paternity leave and just sitting around playing that guitar at the time, I came up with this next little piece that you're about to hear. That bit right there, yeah. In fact, that would have been around this time because his birthday was 2 days ago. So yeah, it very well could have been on this day 2 years ago that this riff was written. If not today, then right around this time. So yeah, then we enter, basically that riff goes 4 times, and the second 2, it is harmonized. So let's try the norm. James up 2, and me down 2. Plus both of them up an extra half. And then the same riff, but backwards. I want to check the overall volume. It almost feels like they drop a little bit. Let's try another, both of them up another half. We come back together for that 4/4 measure. So it's the 5/4, the 4/4, and then the 5/4 that we are again in harmony in the backwards version. So this time, James up 3 and me down 2 is what we did on the other one. That's not 2, that's 1. Is that correct? Does that make sense? That is what we did over here. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. I told you guys lots of harmony in this song. Yeah, so starting in verse 10, the entire, well, not the entire verse. The first entire half of this verse is in harmony, plus the two notes immediately preceding it as well. So let's grab those. Yeah. We always end up having to go up an extra half. So right up there until 785. I kind of feel like that's kind of an Avenged Sevenfoldy kind of thing right there. Just the harmony choice feels Avenged Sevenfoldy to me. Okay, so let's take James up 2. That would put him at 1.5. And me down 2, which would put me at 5.5. And then if what we've had to do before is any indication, we should need to take all 4 of them then up half a decibel. So we'll see how that sounds. Yep, then we got just a tiny little harmony right there. Over 3 beats of the measure, starting on the upbeat of the eighth note in the first beat. Jeez. Weird. Weird. So far, the 2 decibel separation has been doing us favors so far, so let's continue trying that. Okay, couple of things here. Now the vocals stop, right? Yeah, there's not vocals over this part. I think I want to turn it up. Yeah, so we've got it down that half decibel to account for the vocals, but I think it should come back up right there. Or even, I'm not looking at vocals. There's Magenica's vocals. Maybe right there. Because there's not vocals over that little break right there. So there's no point in those guitars being down that half decibel right there. So let's take those up to 3. Same thing with this. That means these are going to need to go up. And then this actually, this little 3/5 section right here is during a solo. Ah, there's Dad too. Dad's over on YouTube, looks like. So that first note of the solo does actually start right there. So we can reduce the guitars to make room for that solo. Okay, hold on. Okay, so then we come back to unison for that last measure. So it's the 5/4/4/4/5/4 thing. And what did we do for that? I believe we took James clear up to 0. So up by 3, and then me down by 1, which would put me at -4 right there. I think that's what we did the other time this riff happened. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the rhythm guitars here as well, because there's, like I said earlier, there's actually a pretty important clean guitar part happening right here. So again, let's kind of make room for that. Almost forget about that harmony every time. Okay, yep, so we definitely want to adjust that mix. Let's keep trying our our 2 decibel separation there. So that would put James at 2.5 and me at 6.5. We definitely lost a little bit of volume again, so take us up a little. There's clean guitars that happen throughout this part. Another harmony over that last little bit right there. It's kind of funny, you could just very faintly hear all of my my temp scratch vocals coming through the overheads on the drums in that gap right there. Kind of funny. Weird little Easter egg. Yeah, and as per usual, it's a good balance, but lost a little bit of volume overall. What was that? A stick click right there? It sure is. Okay, never caught that before. I think Eli clicked his sticks together in that gap. Well, let's get rid of that. Since there's not a cymbal decaying during this part, that shouldn't be a big deal. Shouldn't sound awkward. So yeah, we're in harmony for a bunch of this. Halfway through 859, there's a measure that I know isn't in harmony. Let's find that. 864. So right up to that. Halfway through 859, which is there. We don't have a marquee anymore. There we go. All the way up to that in 863. Let's keep trying our 2 decibel separation again. Now this is a repeat chorus from the second track of the entire album. This is kind of our like full circle story moment. So this is a section that we've technically mixed once before, and I have no idea what the guitars were set to during that. So we're just gonna do it what feels right here. Okay, so then we've just got 865 up to 868. You know what I think? We may actually need to look at Left 4 Dead, because I think I did something extra to the guitars to make a little bit more room for keyboards during this particular chorus too, which is a move we may want to repeat. While we're working... Hello, computer. The computer did not like that. There, that's what we're looking for. We can get rid of this. This would take 2 seconds if not for this computer's, the weird Mac thing that happened during a recent update where the Mac will not read anything that's on an external hard drive. Or Logic won't. That's, yeah, not exactly right. The Mac will, Logic won't. And so whereas before I could have just jumped over to the Left 4 Dead mix project real quick, we could look, we'd come right back. Instead, I have to pull it off of the external hard drive into the computer's actual memory to look at it, and then we can delete it back out of there. Yay, technology! Okay, let's take another quick listen to this chorus here. Okay, so our return up to 3 decibels actually needs to come a lot sooner than that. Actually needs to happen right there. Yes. And that is the end of part 5. Okay, so let's check out Left 4 Dead if it's over here. Yep. Just jump over there real quick and take a look at that chorus and see what the guitars are doing there so that we can kind of prepare ourselves for adding in keyboards to this. As you guys can see, the computer just absolutely loves opening Afterwinter projects. Okay, here we go. So we're looking at chorus 1 right here. Yes, indeed, the guitars are down to 4.5 here. So the bass is 4.5 all the way up until the chorus is over. And that is, I'm sure, to make room for what Sam was doing keyboard-wise there, because this chorus should be a little, you know, big and epic. Okay, so let's jump back over there and apply that. And now, that's literally all we needed that for, so I can delete that back out of the computer's memory now. It's ridiculous that we have to do that. Hopefully one of these days they will release some sort of update that fixes that. Okay, so we need to grab everything to do with this chorus. Actually, I want to check the ending. Yeah, I want it to return to 3.5 for that part, so we don't need to grab that part. We need to grab a couple of extra related nodes here. That, yep, that, and that. And we need to put this down an extra decibel, just like that. Okay, and that's where my guitars were previous to this chorus anyway. Awesome. So that should be rhythm guitars ready to go for now. So let's take a look at what our clean guitars are doing. A decent chunk of clean guitar work in this song. So all of these are clean guitars. Let's just kind of take a listen to what they're doing, because very often I really layer clean guitars, and despite it being, in this case, 8 tracks, it will be all 8 guitars doing exactly the same thing to create one consistent clean tone. But it's not always that, so we want to kind of be aware of what's going on. Now, this is verse 11, so it probably is all of them playing the same thing. Okay. Okay, and then in the chorus 2-4, it's probably not all the same. Okay, so let's kind of see how those naturally fall into place. I do feel like they're being compressed a little too much. Not necessarily liking how the compression sounds in there. Okay, let's see how it sounds in the track. Okay, I don't understand why it's not grabbing this top one. Oh. So I think they could be a little louder, but I also think that the rhythm guitars could be a little quieter. The distortion rhythm guitars are still taking up a little bit too much space in this section. So let's do both. Let's turn the clean guitars up a little and the distortion rhythms down a little further, so we can just create kind of a better balance there. just because I don't want to fight with the computer about trying to go to -6. I'm going to try -6.5 and see if that's too much. Okay, yeah, I was changing my mind back and forth a couple of times there. I think that's pretty close. I think I'm actually going to turn the clean guitars down a little bit, just a hair. Let's check that out again. Yeah, okay, so then we've got this chorus 2-4 here, which is another callback. This, of course, the 30-minute song is just full of callbacks to other parts of the album. In this case, this is part 5 calling back to part 2. So this is the World Without Sin chorus, which was kind of, lyrically speaking, tainted the other times we've heard it so far in the song. So this is the kind of the correct World Without Sin chorus from a lyrical standpoint. And again, the clean guitars part is pretty prominent in this. So we want to be careful about making sure we strike the right balance. We got the distortion guitars down a little bit further. I do think now that I'm thinking about this dynamically, when the guitars come back in, I want them to be louder. Yeah, okay. In the section where the clean guitars are prominent, there's a guitar. Is it this? It's those right there, the ballad guitars. that are just a little bit too loud. Just in that section where the clean guitars are by themselves. Yep, and then the acoustic guitars, once that distortion thing comes in kind of full, is still a little bit too loud. I think they need to come down a huge amount. This is definitely our big Broadway musical moment right here. This, if anything on the entire album reminds me of something that would be in a Broadway musical, it's that section that we were just listening to right there. Okay, yeah. There was something else I was thinking of when we were listening to that just there, and I've lost it. I'm not sure what it was. Something else that occurred to me there. Oh, another weird little Easter egg. In this part here where the clean guitars are pretty much by themselves, you can hear me breathe on the acoustic track. So of course we record acoustic guitars with an actual microphone, and that's been like a staple. It was like that on Decadence. There were parts you could hear me breathe. There's twice in the intro of Black Widow you can hear me intake breath through this big old honker in the middle of my face here. And I don't mean to do it. It's not something we're putting in there on purpose, but here it is for this album. See if you can catch it. It's only in the left speaker, so if you've got a decent system you're listening to this through, you might catch it, but it's in the left speaker in this kind of quieter section. It was right there, just like that. Oh, weird Easter eggs. It's the sort of thing I'm going to hear for the rest of my life every time I listen to this album, but nobody else will even notice. Okay, so let's move to pianos. Got 3 piano tracks in the song from Sam, a left-hand track, and then 2 right-hand tracks. This first one, I do believe, is just some low hit notes. I don't remember exactly where in the song this is happening, but let's check it out. Ominous. Okay, and then we've got the verse 11. So again, the clean part we were just listening to, he's got a left and a right hand thing going on. I think we got it. You know, I was pretty sure I tuned those guitars before I played that. Disappointing. Okay, so let's move into right hand. So we're starting off right with that verse 11, the thing where the clean guitars are kind of prevalent. Next we've got kind of like a sort of a lead. I think the only thing on this second right-hand track is this, he's got a synth lead and also this sort of piano thing that's going on also. So we're going to need to kind of strike a balance between the two. But let's take a listen to what the piano thing is doing. It's pretty neat. Might be a little bit loud once we get the synth thing in there, but we'll see. I don't even think that really needs the track envelope right at the moment. Okay, so now getting into some of the orchestra stuff. So this is a left-hand strings track. Now, just in case you're watching, you haven't before, so don't be alarmed while we're going through, especially the lower strings. This is something that really quickly and easily gets in the way of the more important low end going on in the song, the bass drum, the bass guitar. And so usually what I do with low end strings is I want to notice something's different if I mute it, but for the most part, it's just supporting. It's not something you're specifically hearing really well, so much as it's something that's kind of supporting underneath. Again, you would notice if it were muted, but it's not something you're really clearly hearing. Okay, so let's take a listen to what this is here in verse 10. So just low notes playing along to the chords of that part. Okay, so now we're jumping out to break 18 and then the Left for Dead chorus here. Okay, that's it for that one. Nice and supporty. All right, let's check out our other bass strings track here. Just a couple of little blurbs on this. This is something that's in that the long intro. And the other bit is out here clear at the end. So I'd imagine we're going to want this to be at the same volume that the other track is. I like that suddenly that track comes in as the guitars fade out. That'll be neat. There is a lead thing in part 6 that kind of fades in right there, but we'll get that little touch of nice low strings. Okay, so now we're moving into right hand strings. Again, we got 2 of these. This one looks like it's actually right at the very beginning of the song. So let's check this out. That's it for that one. So let's check out the other high strings track here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, a couple of other odds and ends that are going on in here. We've got a brass track. Just, I think that's the only thing. Yep, just that little blurb right there, which kind of became an in-joke between Sam and I while he was recording this crescendo note that we kept finding spots to put in. And when I listened to this track earlier today, after I had routed it to make sure that I had routed everything correctly, it happened, and I had forgotten about it, and I laughed. Just because I wasn't expecting it. It's like, of course that's right there. So let's see where it is volume-wise here. Quite loud. Yeah, that seemed more appropriate. Okay, and then we have a couple of little church choir bits. Most of it's during that Left 4 Dead chorus, but I have a feeling I know what this is. sick of this crap logic. Blocking me from going to every single one that I want. Okay. I think we got that part in there. That was kind of a neat choir part I'd forgotten about. That is not what I thought that was. Okay, so now we're jumping out to that Left 4 Dead chorus. Having the strings up that loud has definitely highlighted that there is a quiet part of the rhythm guitar track, this right here. That should pop up back to normal volume right there, and of course it won't let me go to 3.5. And then there's another spot, it's right there. Okay. That sounds like crap. That needs to come up back here. Okay, I think I'm going to change my mind and have it come in back here, actually. I don't know, guys. That's... Maybe it'll make sense once the vocals are in there, but that's not sounding right to me either. I'm going to bring them back in volume just a little bit, and maybe that'll have it sit better. That's definitely what we did on Left 4 Dead, but for some reason this time it's not, doesn't seem to be doing the same thing. Okay, and then we've got another little choir blurb clear at the end here. Yep, just making sure that was the only one. Okay, and then finally we've got a harp on that chorus as well. like we got it there. Okay, start it back from the beginning here real quick. There we go. Got a couple more things that we can add before we get out of here today, but I do have to use the bathroom real quick. So take a quick listen here. Okay, hope nobody was jamming. Since we don't have a whole lot of time, let's just go ahead and keep getting into this. Okay, so our next thing is synths. We got a couple of synths tracks here, and one is a lead. Pretty sure. No, that's not right. They're completely random. All right, we'll figure it out as we go. So here we got a little blurb right here. Not sure what this is. Let's see if we can catch it here. Okay, definitely going to have to check out when the vocals hit there on verse 11. I really hate that transition where the rhythm guitars suddenly drop out. I'm not sure if the rhythm guitars are just too quiet now, or if it just feels like there's too much of a drop off and therefore the vocals being there will fix it. Just have to pay attention to that. Okay, so this I think right here is another little solo piece. Not sure about that. I'm not gonna lie. I pushed him to put that part on there, and now I'm questioning that. Maybe it just needs to be in the background. I don't hate it. It's the piano thing that he has there is cooler than this, and I think having both of them there kind of detracts from it. I think one or the other would be cool, but both is too much. I think we might, I don't want to delete it. I'm going to turn it all the way down for now. Even having it that quiet, it's barely there at all. And then one has to ask the question, why have it in there then, if you can't even really hear it? Okay, let's check out break 18 here. I have a feeling this is just him following the guitar riff that's going on. Okay, and then we got one more synth track here, which I think is the right, yep. Yeah, neat, but there's other keyboard parts that are going on right there that are more interesting, I think. Okay, so we got a couple of leads in this one. Second one is pretty interesting. This first one is in itself kind of a callback to a lead from Imperfect Conviction, which we're also playing the rhythm section from Imperfect Conviction as well. So this is a callback to that lead with a different ending. So let's just kind of see where it's sitting at the moment. Yep, I'm good with that. Okay, now the second one is interesting. Not only because we've got a bunch of harmonies and stuff that go way off in the background, but I'm finger picking. So for some reason on this section and basically nowhere else on the entire album, I was thinking about what I would be doing if we were performing this live. And I'm playing that clean guitar part that's happening in verse 11, this bit. which is finger-picked. And I noticed when I was kind of practicing along with the song that I didn't really have time to flip the pick back up into my fingers cleanly for this lead. So I thought, well, why don't I try finger picking a lead as well? So I kind of like that. This is an interesting lead just for that. So let's see where it's sitting volume-wise. Yeah, so we turned it way up there, but also the vocals come back in the middle of that. So it's important that they get, the guitars get out of the way in time for those vocals. Okay, I just threw all those harmonies in there. Let's take another listen here. There was a note in there that was bothering me, trying to figure out which guitar was doing it. That might need to change later. It might still be a little bit loud overall. I like it where it's at, but it also might just be because it's kind of new and therefore extra neat. I don't want it to overtake the vocals that are happening right there. So I think that's pretty much where we're going to leave it, at least for now. Now, you guys are also probably familiar with... there are vocals left to do in this song. We don't really want to do that on stream. We are literally at the end of the album. This song has the last vocals that are on the album at all. So playing that on stream is going to give away story and plot points that we don't necessarily want to be public at the moment. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to continue messing with this one tonight. I'm going to have to get in there and do those vocals at some point offline, and also record my background vocals, stick them in there. A little bit more sound effects to go in this song. But this album is really close to done. So we were almost done with first pass mixes for the entire album. We got this one and part 6, which is just kind of an instrumental closer to the album, as well as a hush hush secret track of dialogue that's going to happen way after the end of the last section. But we're almost there. First pass mixes wise, we're almost there, and then we should be truly on the home stretch for finishing this album finally after literally 3 years. Paramnesia will be out and to the public, and we'll be able to finally share this that we've been promising to everybody after all this time, instead of just sitting on it ourselves and thinking, man, this is awesome, can't wait for people to hear it. Someday they will, and that day is finally coming. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's anything else we can do tonight. Part 6 still needs to be processed. Sam's parts are still all in MIDI form. They need to be turned into audio, and routing is boring, and we've got less than half an hour left on my personal timeline anyway. So let's just go ahead and close it out here. I think we made a lot of good progress as far as this song goes. There's some sections that are really going to depend on the vocals, I think, before an official decision can be reached regarding some of the volumes we've set today. But for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Thinking the sound's pretty good. This is one of my favorite parts of the long section. This one, it's parts 3 and 5 are my at the moment my two favorites. Part 3 because it's really heavy, and part 5 here just because it's so proggy. There's a lot of neat stuff going on, and I really like that finger-picked lead there. All right, so not sure what's going to be going on stream-wise for a little while here now that we're getting into the Christmas season, the holiday season. Everybody's busy. People got stuff going on. And so it's kind of hard to say for sure what's going to happen. We're definitely not going to be streaming Friday night. I've got some other stuff going on at home, but we will probably be back next Wednesday. I don't want to absolutely promise that because it seems like every time I promise something, something gets in the way and we can't do it. But at least for now, let's go ahead and plan on a Wednesday night stream. A little bit earlier than this one. We should be able to start streaming more like 5-ish or so. Hopefully next week, if we can do it on Wednesday at all. If not, I will see you guys probably the week following that, or maybe even the Friday night of next week. That is pretty close to Christmas, though. So if by chance I don't get to stream anymore until the holidays, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you all have good time opening presents and spending time with family and eating stuff. You know how the holidays always are. It's an interesting time, and everybody's got a little bit different thing going on. So whatever you got going on, I hope it goes well. All right, guys, one last time, thank you for watching this. Whether you're watching it now or whether you're watching it while it's not live further into the future, I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and maybe more importantly, what you heard, especially tonight. And we will catch you next time. See you guys later.